All right, I want to turn to this story by CNN for a second because there's a couple of things here. One is we have gotten tremendous support from our YouTube viewers on our Patreon account. We went through a period over the past 6 months of what has been known as the ad apocalypse. And what happened was YouTube, apparently their algorithm is such that a lot of ads were showing up on Nazi channels and racist channels and this and that. And big advertisers were like, we don't want to be associated with this. And YouTube, you got to do a better job of making sure that's not happening. And they don't seem to, they either don't have the technology or didn't to really do a good job of this, or they're making money and they didn't want to do it too quickly, or they want to slice the bread really thinly in some level so that they don't lose too much. And so everybody went through this. Now, you would hear people like Dave Rubin whine and complain. And obviously, he probably got caught up in the algorithm because a lot of his viewers, I think, probably watch a lot of this fascist stuff. And so the algorithm can't tell that they're just watching gateway stuff as opposed to the real stuff. And so, I feel for Dave Rubin in that instance. It's very hard. You're not... I guess you are somewhat responsible for who your audience is over time. I mean, you can't micromanage who your audience is. I can't control who my commentators are. But I would probably be a little bit concerned with what I'm doing if I found that most of my audience or a big chunk of my audience came from, these right-wing fascist sites, and that's why I was getting caught up in algorithm. But that's Dave Rubin's, if it doesn't bother him, that's for him to deal with. So CNN, who is obviously a competitor of YouTube in some fashion, right? They did a report that says ads from over 300 companies and organizations, including tech giants, major retailers, newspapers, and government agencies ran on YouTube channels promoting white nationalists, Nazis, pedophilia, conspiracy theories, and North Korean propaganda, a CNN investigation has found. And it doesn't it doesn't break it down to how many ads, how often this was. Look, the revenue, et cetera, okay? It just talks generally the same story that we've been hearing. And, it talks about that 2015 story that ultimately led to the ad apocalypse. And that's why our Patreon supporters are so helpful for us. It basically smooths it out. We don't have to deal with monetization rates that drop to 35% or 30% or 20% one month. And it happens. And sometimes it happens on a weekly basis. We're just not back to where we were, but that's okay. Because like I say, the Patreon people have helped us out. It goes on to say YouTube continues to place ads on channels run by the online and digital network InfoWars, which is notorious for promoting conspiracy theories. That's true. Despite the backlash it got from advertisers in the wake of CNN's reporting in March, CNN has since found that YouTube also put ads for Mozilla and 20th Century Fox film on a Nazi YouTube channel. Now, again, they're not placing it there specifically. They're following certain algorithms. The company's ad ran on Brian Rue's Nazi channel. YouTube subsequently deleted the channel for violating its community guidelines against spreading hate speech. So it took them a while to get there. Before its deletion, ads ran frequently on the channel. I thought this was funny. Rue, who, when contacted for CNN for comment, emphasized that he did not want to be referred to as a neo-Nazi because he thinks of himself as a real, genuine, and sincere Nazi. So good for him.
He's a paleo-Nazi.
He's a paleo-Nazi. CNN confirmed that his channel was monetized before its deletion. On that channel, David Duke, KKK Grand Wizard, discussed what he said were racial and genetic differences between whites and blacks. It's David Duke, right? Not Sam Harris. Okay. YouTube placed a co-branded ad from Nissan and Disney that promoted the Nissan Leaf and released the film. Oh, come on, folks! I'm making a little joke about Sam Harris. Of course, I don't think Sam Harris and David Duke are similar whatsoever. It's not like Sam Harris would just invite a guy on who's talking about racial differences in intelligence just to piss off people.
No, never.
Right?
No, of course not. And now he's just sad and just burdened that he has to peddle race science, but it isn't his choice or interest.
Right. He doesn't want to. And then they point out there apparently there is a Red Star TV, which is an information project of the DPRK, Solidarity Group. This is from the North Korean regime, in which truthful information about North Korea is translated and disseminated. I mean...
I actually bookmarked that channel as soon as I read this.
And it receives information support from the regime. And then it says, meanwhile, ads from Washington Post, New York Times appeared on far-right and conspiracy channels like Black Pigeon Speaks. I don't know what that is. And some run by InfoWars. The companies are investigating how their ads appeared on the channels. There's obviously something wrong with the algorithm. But I want to say this. In this CNN piece, just stuck in the last sentence, literally the last sentence before they got statements from the companies, was this. Ads also appeared on the Jimmy Dore channel, a far-left YouTube channel. Now, I don't think that Jimmy Dore is far-left.
No.
I think he's like basically mainstream social democrat, right? I mean, single payer.
Populist lefty.
Yeah.
Not far left.
He's a Green Party advocate, but I don't know that makes him far left per se.
I wouldn't say so.
Just a strategic mischoice. But far left YouTube channel that peddles conspiracy theories, such as the idea that Syrian chemical weapons attacks are hoaxes. And now to be honest with you, I don't know that he has said that they're hoaxes. I think he's probably questioned as to who was responsible for them. And I just don't think, and I want to say this, I know people think I have an issue with Jimmy Dore, and I do. But this is a sad attempt to create some type of false equivalency. Now, I disagree with him on Syria more broadly. I don't need to even, analyze the videotape to determine whether or not, the white helmets are crisis actors or whatever. I mean, Assad's a bad guy. I don't think we should intervene there. I think he's a bad guy, though. But the conspiracy theory thing is not, well, okay, that may be fair or true on some level, right? Like you got stuff like the Parkinson's. Okay, Parkinson's sufferer takes, speculation she has Parkinson's, says Jimmy Dore on his thing. The media failing to report on Hillary's Parkinson's. He puts a question mark, but that's what they always do, right? But even though he peddles those conspiracies and the Seth Rich stuff, there is no false equivalence here. And so this is just a cheap shot taken by CNN, I think, really, in many ways, to discredit the left, just broadly speaking. It's unfair to people on the left to sort of like say that he's a representative of that. But I don't think that his stuff is in any way even close to being as reprehensible as these right-wing stations. I mean, he may.
Yeah, I agree.
He may retweet like Cernovich. Does he retweet Cernovich? No, he doesn't.
He got retweeted by Alex Jones today.
Yeah, he got retweeted by now. And Alex Jones, I've had my beef with CNN is smearing him in InfoWars in the same piece. And he may, say that you can make common cause with some of these guys, but it's not the same. So I just want to be on record of coming out in defense of the notion that Jimmy Dore was, smeared, or it was a false equivalence in this piece. And I think that's completely unfair. So